Hello, I'm Jim Rovera, and I'd like to talk to you about the process of grading your papers, specifically your academic writing, like your summaries, your argument papers, things like that. Um, First thing I'd like you to know is that I think the most valuable thing that you can get out of humanities study is the ability to write. It's not just the knowledge that you gain, but your ability to express yourself clearly and coherently, and maybe even eloquently. You develop those skills um, by practice, and you develop those skills by being given direction. So the purpose of the grading process is to give you direction in your writing. It's not designed to criticize you. I think it's very important that you understand that when your work is given a grade, you are not being graded. Your performance on that one assignment is being graded. And your performance is being graded as far as your writing is concerned, following a rubric that I developed with Professor Sherry Truffin, who's now at Campbell University, last summer, summer of 2011. The rubric that we developed was designed to give students a target or a goal for their academic writing. But the standards that are in that rubric are really just for academic writing. They're not for all writing. They're not for creative writing. They're not for journalistic writing. They're not for anything but academic writing. That's one pretty narrow set of conventions, which vary by field, of course. And we're thinking specifically of writing in the humanities, but the measures that we established, I think, are general enough to apply to several fields. Now, the question some students have is, why is writing so important? Why is this a English class and you're grading me so tough on my writing? And why is it a history class or a, poetry class and you're grading me how well I write summaries and prose and things like that? Um, Writing in general is a very important skill for your own professional development, for one thing. Businesses, just go to the Chronicle of Higher Education and do a search on writing, just essays about writing. Businesses are starting to lose faith in higher ed because we're turning out graduates who can't write coherently and clearly. Um, they're losing faith in business majors. In fact, businesses of all people are losing faith in business majors. This was in a recent article published maybe within the last month in the Chronicle of Higher Ed. Because these business majors come out not being able to read and write coherently. They lack basic skills. Um, See, a business feels that they can provide you on the job training for what they want you to do, but they can't teach you basic skills that you should have learned in college. And writing is one of them, math is another. Um, the College Board conducted a survey of Fortune 500 companies in, I think, 2001 about the importance of writing. And these companies are all saying, if you can't write, you can't even get in the door. We're not, if you don't provide a well-written cover letter, you're not going to get an interview. If somehow you do make it through the interview process and get hired, you're not going to get promoted unless you can write. So in the professional world, most aspects of the professional world, um, how you're perceived as a person, how intelligent you are, is partly seen as being, not how intelligent you are, but how intelligent people see you as being. Is partly the product of how well you write, how well and how clearly and powerfully you express yourself. I worked as an electrician for 16 years, and I had to write as an electrician. I had to write daily job logs. I had to write for extras, describing the work that we did and the materials used and labor used and things like that. So writing is a very important part of your professional existence. But another thing too, though, writing is very important to your own mental development. The longer I go, and the more I teach, and the more I read, I really don't think anyone's thinking is any clearer than their writing. A lot of times you don't understand maybe the relationship between grammatical elements of a sentence, so maybe you don't know how to use certain types of punctuation like semicolons and commas. That's one thing. But writing that's unclear is, on a whole, is usually the product of thinking that's unclear. And what learning to write clearly will do is discipline and expand the scope of your thinking. The more different ways that you can write, the more different ways that you can think, the more creative, intelligent, and a person that you are. And I think that's especially true for a humanities major, because no matter what field of the humanities that you're in, your medium is language. Even if you're a student of art, your medium is language. Because in order to talk about what a work of art means, you got to talk, you got to use words. You know, part of the meaning of even a piece of visual art or music, a musical performance, is what people say about it. So in all areas of the humanities, meaning is defined by words. How we interpret our experiences of these humanities products, and how we interpret our experiences of life and the way people have represented life back to us and other people. So you need to learn to write clearly so that you can learn to think clearly, so that you can develop and expand your ideas and make them more complex. To that end, Professor Truffin and I developed this rubric that sets pretty high standards. We've shown it around to a lot of people, people at a lot of different institutions, people who have been teaching at a higher level than we've been teaching for a longer period of time. It's been very well received. It's been well respected by some pretty established scholars. It's been adopted and used by some other faculty members in different programs, like engineering programs and so on. The purpose of our rubric is to show you the goal for your writing. And the purpose of our grading is to show you where you are in reaching that goal. So we're not grading you, we're grading your work on this one assignment. And when you spent a lot of time working on an assignment and when you did it the night before it was due and turned in a first draft. So, my experience has been, even with students who are pretty challenged in their writing, really how well you write is going to be a function of how much time you allow yourself to write and to come back to your writing and revise it. And you need to know that writing is a process. It's very few of us can sit down and write something great right off the top of our heads and not have to come back and revise it. I can't tell you how much time I spend revising my own writing and still catch things I want to change or reword. So the purpose of grading your writing is not to insult you or make you feel bad. It's to help move you in the right direction in your thinking and in your scholarship, in your development as a professional and as a student of the humanities. So we'd like you to take that seriously. Look at the feedback that your instructors leave on your papers, and try to carry that forward to your next paper. In the process, as you start correcting your own papers, you'll start making the corrections yourself as you go. And then the writing will become natural to you. You just won't make that error anymore or quite as often. Anyways, see us as partners with you in your growth as a writer and as a scholar and as a thinker. And remember, your writing isn't actually your baby. It's your writing. And it can be revised and always made better. Thank you.